Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk about the Marchman Act and whether when your loved one is sent to treatment under a court order, whether you will have access to any of their medical records so that you can find out what's going on. And that would include being able to speak to their therapists, their clinicians. And the simple answer is, as a general rule, no. Now remember, in our office, our specialty is to save families like yours if you've got a loved one who has a substance use or mental health disorder. So sometimes we're in Marchman court, sometimes we're in guardianship court, and occasionally we're in Baker Act court. I handle a lot of those cases, but occasionally we're in Baker Act court where we're using it sort of as an offensive way of getting somebody stabilized when it's an emergency situation. So one of the things I've tried to share is the difference between Marchman Act and guardianship in terms of the relief they give you. Now remember, guardianship is very broad, Marchman Act is very narrow. Marchman Act is generally quicker than guardianship, and sometimes we'll do, say, a part one of the Marchman Act to get somebody assessed because we can get that done very quickly and get the police to pick them up. But guardianship takes a little bit longer, but it gives you so much more authority if you're the family. One of the things that Marchman Act is not going to give you is the ability to get access to the medical records. And why is that? Because, first of all, these filings, especially Marchman Act, is part of someone's confidential medical records. Now, it is, when I say it's narrow, what I mean is it's just an order that sends your loved one to treatment. That's great, right? That's what we want. We want them going to treatment. But unless they are willing to sign a release of information, in other words, waiving their medical privilege, the facility, if you call them, is going to say, sorry, we cannot confirm or deny it. They're here. Well, can I see the medical records? No, they won't sign a release. They haven't signed a release. So no, you can't. Which is why sometimes guardianship, because it's much broader an application, is going to give the family access to things like medical records, the ability to control finances and property and where they live, and restrict their ability to travel and their ability to drive, all those things. Much broader. And so a lot of the time families don't want to be the guardian, and I understand why. They just want their loved one to go to treatment. But unless your loved one is willing to sign a release of information, and sometimes they don't want to because they're all upset because they've just been sent to treatment, but you've done it because you love them and you want to save them, and at some point they will understand that and appreciate it and even thank you, but it's going to take a little time. But meanwhile, they're probably not all that happy because, well, what's going on up here is really running the show. This is not your loved one, it's the disease. And that's what's running the show. And the disease is kind of ticked off right now, so it's not going to let your loved one sign a release of information. But at some point, you should be able to get that information. So I wanted to share that with you. It's a question that comes up a lot, and I always appreciate that. If you have other questions, please post them in the comments. If you like the video, my web guy says you should give me a thumbs up. And if you want more information about the work that we do, please subscribe to the channel. With that said, thank you for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye.